All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this Discover ASEA presentation. I know most of you are from Singapore, so good evening, Singapore. And I'm Dan Doyle. I'm from Sydney, Australia. This is Dr. David Silverman, and from Maryland, near Washington, and Malcolm Sword from Queensland, from Brisbane in Queensland. We are all ambassadors of this. Just tell me when you've got me back. Hello? Got me back? We're all ambassadors of this company called ASEA. I'm going to talk to you about this breakthrough technology, incredible products from a cellular health company. And we are here to pass on some information to you. There's some people on this call that have never heard about ASEA, their breakthrough products, the technology that they have, and we just want to let you know we're not here to sell you anything. We're not here to convince you of anything. We're just here to share information with you. Whatever you do with that information is totally up to you. I'm going to go through my story, just going to let you know why people normally look at ASEA and their breakthrough products. Actually, I'll bring Dr. David Silverman on for that. There are several reasons why he came up with these reasons. I love these reasons. I'm one in particular, probably the third one. But David, if you can just go through why people look at these products and breakthrough technology.
Sure, absolutely. And thanks, Dan and Mal. It's good to be here from Washington, D.C. And just for the record, my background is foot and ankle surgery. I was a traditionally trained doctor. I've sold my practice now. I was introduced to ASEA because a friend brought it to me, and the reason I looked at it was strictly for, I don't want to say selfish reasons, because it wasn't even for me. My dad had a severe prostate issue, grave prostate issue, and I wanted to see if it could help him. But what we found is that there are about 6 reasons why people take the time to look at this. And I'll just share my screen real quickly, and I'll turn it back over to Dan here. And I shot a video, 6minutes6reasons.com, that might be helpful to people. But the first 3 reasons are the most common. Number 1, people look at it to see if it can help them. Now, I'm talking about the oral version or the topical version, and we'll talk about that. But number 1, you might have a health issue yourself. You don't sleep well. You have a problem with your prostate, with your pancreas, with your lung, with your brain, with your eye. It's you that you're looking to see if this could possibly help and not hurt in any way, unlike a drug. The second reason was my reason. I looked at it from my father. You may love somebody. You may dismiss it for yourself, but say, my dad is sick, or my daughter, or whatever, even a pet. So you're investigating it to see if it could help someone you love. The third reason is the fun reason Dan was talking about, the anti-aging benefits. The product helps the body rejuvenate cells, replace old bad cells with fresh ones. And skin are cells, and very few people like getting wrinkles as they get older. I'm 50, I'll be 58 in about a month and a half, and my wife loves that I use it. I love that she uses it, but that's the fun reason. The fourth reason is the athletic performance benefits. Athletes run much faster and further with this product. We have Olympic gold medalists on this product, professional athletes. That's a nice benefit. The fifth one is protecting your health. People generally notice that they were healthier and more vibrant when they were younger. As they age, as they get older, they start to see their body change. They see people they love get more and more diseases. And we realize we're immortal. When we're young, we're immortal, right? But when we get older, we're immortal. So protecting your health. And then the sixth reason is the opportunity created by this. This is patented, as Dan and Mal will speak about in a few minutes. But most people go through their lives not really having what they want. They're either struggling financially or they're settling, and not just settling financially, because a lot of people settle with too little money, but they also settle with too little time freedom. As a doctor, I love what I did. I was helping people. I made a lot of money, but I did not have time freedom. So this business can provide both money and time freedom, and an incredible sense of satisfaction by helping people. And the last reason is again, it's that people settle with too little satisfaction. They're not excited to get up in the morning. You know, they here in the United States anyway, I would say the majority of people they just can't wait for the weekend. They're trying to get through the week to get to the weekend, to have Friday night and Saturday and Sunday off. And then Monday morning, people are not quite as excited about Monday mornings as they are Friday afternoons, I can tell you here. So those are just some of the reasons, the 6 most common reasons. And there are people, the 7th reason is people who just want to make a difference in this world. They want to leave a legacy. They want to be able to touch not dozens of lives, but hundreds of thousands of lives, which very few people in the world have the ability to do that and have done that. But it gives the average person the ability to impact the entire world. And I'm sure Dan and Mal talk about that. So I'll stop sharing my screen, Dan, and I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you, David. I'll start sharing my screen. And just let me know if you can see this once it comes up.
See it? Yep.
Okay, fantastic. Well, I said welcome everybody onto the call. Going to talk to you about, in particular, these 2 breakthrough products, but we'll elaborate on those because there's a nice little skincare range and there is also some other products coming. What you're going to hear about is nothing less than the single greatest health science, anti-aging, and sports performance breakthrough of our lifetime. Before I go into my story, my journey here tonight or this morning, David, what I want to do is go through the company disclaimer. And these products by this company, the ASEA Redox supplement, the Renew 28, and the intensive serum aren't intended to treat, diagnose, cure, prevent any disease or medical condition. What we're going to talk about tonight is something that can empower the body to heal itself. As a youngster, I played a lot of sports. I was a rugby player. I did judo, gymnastics. I did aerobics for obvious reasons. I love to be up the back of a class. And I used to surf, but I used to do this thing called bodybuilding. And this is what I looked like at the age of 24 years old. And the reason I show this is how healthy I was back then, how I used to be serious about the sport that I was in. I was a very competitive bodybuilder back in the early 90s. After this particular competition, I came second, and second, so we don't talk about those ones. There is no second prize. And fast forward 20 years, I still used to go to the gym every morning, keeping in mind this next photo, I wasn't a bodybuilder, but I used to do a lot of cardiovascular work. And at the age of 44, I was still quite fit and healthy. Obviously, if you don't use it, you lose it. I didn't want to be that big and bulky anymore. I just wanted to be leaner and fitter. But everybody sort of looks at this photo and goes, well, you still look pretty good at the age of 44. But unfortunately, I didn't know I had an underlying very serious health challenge. And this was in December 2010. And 6 months later, the doctors gave me some very bad news. And this is the picture 6 months later of me on the right-hand side of a good friend of mine, donning no hair from the top of my head, which I was very concerned about, going to lose my hair one day and how I was going to look. Unfortunately, what they put me through in a hospital for 2.5 years, which was my second home here in Sydney, Australia, was the worst thing I went through in my life. So literally no hair all over my body. The only thing I liked about it is I didn't have to shave. Putting on a very fake smile, because what I went through I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. Standing next to me is a good friend of mine who played the highest level of rugby league in Australia. This is Johnny Manor. His brother Tim Manor, still captain of the Parramatta Eels here in Sydney. Johnny was 21 in this photo. He'd been through all those hospital visits that I'd been through and that I was going through in this photo. This was the start of my journey for 2.5 years. And Johnny had the good one and I had the bad one in this photo. Unfortunately, Johnny's came back. Those hospital visits started again and we lost him by the age of 23 years old. So that was a very sad time. As we were ambassadors of the foundation that we used to speak for and do a lot of patient support for what people went through, which is what we'd been through or what we were going through at the time. The end of that 2.5 years in and out of that hospital, my doctors surprised me with saying the words, "You have to get your affairs in order." Now, I called him a few choice names and words. Didn't realise after what they did to me for 2.5 years, I thinking I was going to be okay, but that was not going to be the case. And I made a decision at that point to take responsibility of my health back into my own hands. I went and did some research. So I've gone from only believing in the medical fraternity and not believing in anything alternative to jumping on the other side of the fence. I started on an alkaline diet. I spent a lot of money from network marketing companies, which I was never involved with because it came from traditional business. Companies like Zengo, their mangosteen juice, Celgevity from Max Products, Isogenics, Product B, Protandem, LifeVantage, Kangen Water. I was on all these nutritional supplements that I spent a lot of money on, money that I didn't have at the time. And I'm going to show you a photo of what I look like after 2 years on this alkaline diet and spending a lot of money on these nutritional products. And you would think that my health would have been heading in the right direction, but that wasn't going to be the case. So what you're seeing here with the way my skin looked and my, the red and yellow around my eyes, this is still an indication of how my body was performing on the inside. So my health wasn't heading in the right direction at all. My blood works were still coming back, that wasn't the case. And this was October 2014. A friend of mine, Bart Cotter, called, and all he said to me was, I think I found something that could help. It was a situation where we had the opportunity to go to check out this technology, this product, this company called ASEA in a place that I'd never heard of, Salt Lake City. I called Mal Sword, who's on this call. Mal had been dealing with a skin challenge that he'd spent over $100,000 on over a 40-year period trying to get on top of this skin challenge to no avail as well. So we both went to this company to have a look at their breakthrough technology for our own health. So we met Bart in the headquarters of this company called ASEA. We were sitting in the boardroom listening to the atomic and medical physicist, Dr. Gary Samuelson, going through all the science about this breakthrough, about this product. This is the product that they had at the time, which was sitting on the boardroom table. And Mel and I didn't understand anything about the science because we're not scientists. All we could understand was that Dr. Gary Samuelson said what was in this bottle was 100% non-toxic and it could have health benefits. So the other great thing for me and Mal was it was free, so we were gorging it down. We went through about half a bottle each while sitting there, and the presentation finished. We went back to the hotel room to have a shower, and we were getting ready to go to dinner to meet Dr. Gary Samuelson and Vertus Norton and Tyler Norton, the founders of ASEA. I took off my shirt to have a shower, and I'm covered in all these little red spots all over my chest, my shoulders, and my back, not realizing at the time what I was trying to achieve here on this two years on this alkaline diet, on all this good nutrition, to detox my body was literally happening in 3 hours. So I considered that to be my first win. The next morning I got up and drank a little bit more of this stuff and went to breakfast, and I'm thinking to myself, how can I test this stuff that we're drinking over the last 24 hours? And I've had a caffeine intolerance for over 20 years, any more than 2 coffees, and I'm in a lot of trouble. I'm buckled over all day. I've got a lot of discomfort. I've got a lot of bloating and very, very uncomfortable. The unfortunate thing is, after I went through those hospital visits, I used to be so tired, so lethargic, so fatigued with what they did to me. I used to drink more coffee to give myself more issues to keep myself awake during the day. That issue was gone the next morning. I had 6 coffees. I went through the whole day. There was nothing to remind me of what I endured for 20 years. So that was my second win. The next day, we decided to go to a theme park. There was Mal, there was Bart, there was myself. It was Halloween. We're going to have some fun, ride some roller coasters. I kept saying to the guys, even though I was going through different emotions, from being lethargic in that 48-hour period to euphoria, I recall that my eyes were focusing in and out like I had a set of binoculars and adjusting them. Bizarre sensation. All I remember saying to the guys the whole time is that I felt like Superman, regardless of what I felt or what emotion I was going through. I jumped out of the car in this theme park, and we were just about the first ones there. There weren't too many cars. I got out of the car, I threw my hands in the air, and I said it to the guys again. I feel like Superman and started running across the car park. Actually, Mal, I'll bring you on to tell the rest of this story because you were there, and it'd be nice for you to get your perspective instead of from me on this one because I still can't believe it happened.
So here we are. This was Halloween 2014, and so Bart's decided that we should go to this theme park the day before we're due to fly out back to Australia, and so Bart and I are in the front of the car, and Bart, of course, is in the front left, which is they drive on a funny side in America, and I'm in the front right, which is where the driver normally sits. And Doyle, you are sitting behind Bart in the back, and if you can imagine, we parked the car and the theme park's to the right. And Doyle gets out of the car and he starts running off in the opposite direction. And I look at Bart and I said, "So where's Doyle off to? He's going the wrong way." Here he was chuffing off in the wrong direction, and like a racehorse. And then a few minutes later, you must have run, I don't know, 60 meters, 80 meters away. And then you came back, and I remember you stood in front of me and expecting me to say something. And I'm looking at you and I said, "What?" He said, "Look at me." You said, "Look at me." I said, "Mate, I'm looking at you." I said, "What?" He said, "Look at me." He said, "I'm not puffing. I'm not huffing and puffing." And the prior year, if you and I had been doing a business meeting, I remember you and I doing several meetings together, and you wouldn't make it through the meeting. You'd have to sit down and draw breath, and during those meetings. So here you were I think this was day 3. This was the 3rd day that we'd been there, and we had continued to take the stuff. We didn't know what it was really, but they'd loaded us up with a lot of little pouches, and we were kind of gorging ourselves on it, and happily so because it was all complimentary. So, but that was day 3, and it was, looking back on it, was amazing that you could do what you did in that short period of time being on the product. Yeah,
I remember I used to hold myself up on a desk to be able to finish a presentation or have to sit down, but. And you know, you hear from people that used to be around back then. And Christina Sword, she said to me, I recall her saying to me only a few months ago that, you know, I actually looked like this photo, and you know, she was expecting any time, like, how long is this guy going to be around for? And it was eerie hearing that from her after all those years. Yeah. So no, thanks, Mal. And so obviously I went back to Australia. Mal and I jumped on a plane. We got back to Australia, and I kept getting in the product. It was costing us $300 for 4 bottles. It wasn't approved in Australia. It wasn't in Australia. We're paying double shipping, but I needed it for my health. So I kept taking the product. And unfortunately, I came from being very successful in business to losing everything. And I could only afford a bottle a week for several months. So I went through from October 2014 in this photo to June 2015. Fortunately, because of the opportunity and the commercial opportunity behind ASEA and what we could do with this, with sharing it with people and receiving thank you checks, I started sharing it with people. I made enough money to take at least half a bottle a day from June 2015. By the end of 2015, I got some really good news, and that was the 2 major issues, not 1, 2 major issues that I had in my body that the doctors had no answer for. They couldn't find any sign of anymore. And this is a photo of me literally in December on the day I got that news. So you can see that I look a lot better. I felt a lot better. But not only that, the thing that blew me away was I had multiple injuries from playing sports. And I'm talking about injuries that were getting worse and worse and worse every year, that stopped me from playing golf, stopped me from going fishing, washing cars, cutting lawns. And these issues with my neck, my shoulder, my back, my hips, my pelvis, my hand, I had a list this long that were getting worse every year, and literally turning into a crippling issue for me as well. I didn't have any more, so I could go and cast a fishing rod again and play a game of golf, and unfortunately cut lawns and wash cars again. And my whole body was rebuilt in 2015. So this is my journey back to health, including pollen issues I had with sneezing and my nose running all day for 20 years, which had also gone away. And then if you fast forward 2 years, you can see that my complexion is cleaning up, and I'm looking younger than what I did even 2 years before. But I'll just backtrack so you got the picture again. So from literally no health to still no health with looking 20 years older to 12 months later and then 36 months later. That's my story back to health. I'm not going to go and talk to you about how disease starts or what these molecules do in the body, or anything about these products, this technology, what this can do, because we've got an expert that's been in ASEA for a lot longer than me, and that's Dr. David Silverman. And we thank you so much for coming on and getting up early in Washington, D.C. So I'm going to hand over to you, David, and I'm going to put us back into Celebrity Squares and stop sharing here.
All right, Dan.
It's all yours.
Thanks, Dan. And
how's that?
Perfect. You know, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words, and the pictures of you are worth 1,000 words. I'll go into some of the science. I am not going to go through a lecture on redox signaling molecules. There are over 1,000 textbooks on this. There are websites that people can go to. I'll mention a couple of them here. But not just as a doctor, just as a person living on this planet, this is a huge breakthrough for humanity. And it can't be understated. You know, there are a lot of network marketing companies that sell products, and they're very good products. I mean, there really are. Network marketing is a great way to get things to the public that sound too good to be true, that really do work, because a friend tells a friend what their experience was. But this is something very, very, very special. And I'll try to, I have the daunting task of trying to get that across in 5 minutes. I'm going to do my best to do that. But it is something that you don't find out about generally from your doctor. Your friend brought it to you. You were smart enough to listen, to come all the way over here to the United States from Australia to take a good look at this. And as I said, a picture is worth 1,000 words, but an experience is worth 10 million pictures. And you could have listened to them talk all day in Salt Lake City, but when you saw the little red dots on your chest from drinking this, and you had the energy the next couple of days, and you weren't huffing and puffing, when you're telling the story, you can hear the excitement in your voice. It's having the experience. And I'm gonna mention a way that everybody can see how quickly this works, very quickly, with this in just a minute. Okay. Here's in a nutshell, here is what this product does. I'll explain what it is in a second. I'll tell you what it does. It enhances signaling in the body. It makes it so that our cells can talk to one another. And that is extremely important, right? And the fact is, what's in this bottle and what's in this tube is something that's already inside of us. It's called redox signaling molecules. Redox signaling molecules. And there's a website, and maybe Dan or Mal, you can type it in, amazingmolecules.com. Amazingmolecules.com has good, short, interest-specific videos on the science, athletic performance, compensation, opportunity, all of that. But if you're just interested in the product, there's very good information there. But our cells make these little redox signaling molecules. And again, there are textbooks on this. And something called the mitochondria or mitochondria if you're in Europe. And without getting into great detail, they're critical for health. And when I was in school in the 80s, I was a biology major and then pediatric medical school. There was no known function for these redox molecules. There were no textbooks on it. There were no journals on it. They were considered waste products, reductants and oxidants. That's what they are, produced in the mitochondria. But one thing they did know is that we produce less and less and less as we got older. We produce less and less and less as we get older, and it accelerates at puberty. And if you notice what happens to people as we get older, you see every decade of life as we get older, our health deteriorates. Now you may say a 20-year-old that's not true. You'll say, Dr. Silverman, a 20-year-old is just as healthy as a 10-year-old. Well, a 20-year-old is stronger and faster than a 10-year-old. Maybe more mature in college, maybe not. With party life, but a 20-year-old is generally faster and stronger. But a 20-year-old will not heal from an injury as fast as a 10-year-old, will they? They don't. They won't heal from an injury, from a surgery. But then what happened, compare the 20-year-old to a 30-year-old. Now the 20-year-old heals faster than the 30-year-old. Compare the 30-year-old to a 40-year-old, right? Now at 40, you start seeing changes in you start seeing some changes. People start getting some health issues, maybe not terrible, but they start seeing things happen. 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, our health deteriorates, and it goes along at this exact same time that our cells are producing less of this, because what's in here is redox molecules. And so they found a way to make it outside the body exactly the same as inside the body. And all you're doing is boosting your levels back up. And I'll tell you again what they do in a second. But you're boosting your levels back up to what they were with zero risk. Zero risk. It's as safe as water. 3 safety things about this product. Because it's inside of you already, you can't be allergic to it. Not one single person on this planet can have an allergy to this, because it's in everybody. It's nature. It's in my dog. It's in animals. We have it in us. So no one can be allergic. Number 2, it does not interfere with other things that other people are doing. If people are doing other things for their health condition, they don't have to worry about this interfering with it, right? Because it's inside of us already. And 3, compared to drugs, there's something about drugs that we all know, right? If you take a drug properly, the right amount, you could get sick and you could die, but probably not, because you're taking the right amount. But if you have an allergic reaction to it, you could die. Let's say you take the drug properly. You're having side effects whether you feel it or not. It's going through your liver, your kidney, it's being metabolized. You are having side effects. You may not sense it, but you are. But if that's the proper dosage of a drug, and you take too much more than you're supposed to, you will get sick. You will have a problem. Your liver may not be able to handle it anymore. Your kidney may not be able to handle it anymore. You will have a problem. And if you take too much more of any drug, there is an amount that will kill you. Every drug has a lethal dose. This is very different than that. Your cells make this, okay, make redox signaling molecules from saline. It's not made from natural chemicals. Saline is salt and water. That's what our cells are filled with. And your cells make redox signaling molecules from salt and water. So if you drink too much of this product, your liver doesn't shut down. Your kidney doesn't shut down. You know what happens? Your body says, hey, David, yeah, we have enough. And immediately it turns the excess redox molecules back into what it was, which is salt and water. There's no toxicity to that. So when I looked at this from my father, all I really cared about was 2 things. My dad was sick with a severe prostate issue. I wanted to know, could this help him in any way, and what were the risks? And I think anybody with common sense, honestly, with common sense, when they investigate this, there's enough data out there, double-blind studies, genetic expression studies, science, safety studies, to say, you know what, it can't hurt. It cannot hurt to use this product. And I'll show you how to see very quick results with this. So here's what it does. Every time you have a problem in your body, doesn't matter if it's a brain problem, lung problem, liver problem, prostate problem, skin problem, retina problem, it's always a cellular problem. It is a cell. Dan Doyle had problems with his cells, right? Now that's a scary problem. When you have cells that are normal and you're, let's say in your kidney or your liver or your prostate or your pancreas, they're functioning properly, they're doing what they're supposed to do. But now you got something wrong with this one. Now Dan had something really wrong with his were mutating. But it could be that they're just old and worn out and needs to be replaced. Our cells wear out. Or it could be damaged by trauma. I bang my arm on the wall, my arm on the table here, and I break my bone. My cells were good until I broke the bone. Now I got broken bone cells. The body needs to replace those cells. If it does not replace the cell, then my bone's going to be broken for the rest of my life. If a cell's mutating and it's not stopped, it's going to multiply. What stops it? What fixes it? Our immune system. Our immune system does the repair. So how does the immune system even know that Dan has a problem in his cells, or I have a broken bone, or my dad has a problem in his prostate? Signaling. Signaling. These are redox signaling molecules. Signals must be sent to the immune system cells that are circulating through the body, and the signal must be heard. So what happens is the good cell sends a signal saying, hey, we have a problem here. We have a bad cell. The signal goes through the body. The immune system cells hear the call, hopefully. They come down, they grab a hold of this cell, they kill it, they dissolve it, they get rid of it. Now what? Now there's a blank space. Does that stay? No. Your body heals itself. How does it heal? The good cell, remember that called for help? Now that this one's gone, the good cell replicates itself. And now you have a fresh cell. This is just healing. The simplest explanation of redox signaling molecules is this. Remember that call for help? If it's not heard by the immune system, then that bad cell remains. What redox signaling molecules do in your body, and remember, children have more, is they amplify the signal. That signal is loud and clear because there's so many redox molecules in younger people, right? But as we get older, the signal goes down, and now the bad cell can remain. And then you have problems. Then you have a poorly functioning liver, if it's a liver cell, brain cell, lung cell, retina cell, pancreas cell, skin cell. That's the beauty of this product. It enhances signaling in the body with zero risk. The last thing I'm going to say is this. It's very important when people take this product to commit to take the drink for 90 days, okay? Or if you're using the gel, because it gets in through your mouth, it doesn't get in through digestion, gets in through your tissues, right? Now, in certain countries, I know in Australia, Dan, you guys didn't have the drink for a while. All you had was the gel and melt. And now I think there's a couple countries right now where they don't have the drink yet. It still gets in through the skin. So commit to do it for 90 days. Okay, most people will drink about one case. That's 4 bottles a month to 8 bottles a week. 1 bottle a week or 2 bottles a week of this, which is about the equivalent of about 1.5 tubes. About 1.5 tubes a week of this, right, to the skin. And if you're putting it on your skin, put it on your neck, your back, your spine, the soles of your feet, if you don't have access to the drink. This reduces wrinkles. People use it in the United States for all kinds of skin things, okay, including wrinkles and cellulite. But here's the last thing I'm going to say. People need to have an experience to really see how powerful this is. You can read about it all day long, but I know human nature. And until someone sees, feels something happen, something on the skin that's been there for years falls off, sleeping through the night for the first time, breathing, running up steps without wheezing, something happens. It's like, my God, this is the real thing. Here's a fast, and if you're looking at the opportunity, you don't want to be telling people about something that you don't really believe in. I can make someone a believer in less than 1 day. 90 days using this for your own issues. But if you want to validate this is real, as soon as you get your product, and Mal will talk about it, it's money back guarantee, all that, take the gel and go find preferably 10 people who have something in their body that hurts them, okay? Even if it's 5, minimum 5 people, please. But if you do it on 10, and they have their neck hurts, their finger hurts, their hip hurts, their back hurts, find people that have something that hurts them. Have each one assess the level of discomfort in their body on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being a little bit, and 10 being just awful. Get a number, okay? So let's say it's 10 people, and you want them to give you not 90 days, not a month. You want them to give you 10 minutes. Just 10 minutes. That's it. Okay, and you watch what happens, and here's what you do. They rated their level of discomfort 1 to 10. They shake up the tube. Here's a full one here. And there's no smell, there's no greasiness. Remember, it's made from salt and water. I mean, there's nothing, you use it on your face. I mean, so it's not dangerous. But let's say if their neck hurts, put it on 3 times in 5 minutes. Just put it on gently. You don't have to rub it hard. Once. Wait 2 minutes, do it again, wait 2 minutes, do it again. 3 times in 5 minutes, and then you watch what happens after 10 minutes. Not 1 of them is going to say wow. Not 2 of them are going to say wow. Not 5 of them are going to say wow. I would bet that you ask them, you would think you would see 9 of the 10 people 9 out of 10 within 10 minutes look at you and say, what is this? How do I get it? Right? That's the way you validate it very quickly. 90 days on this for yourself, okay? But if you're looking at the opportunity or you need to see something happen, go do that on 10 people and you'll see what happens, okay? So Dan, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you. Are you able to hang around? Fantastic. We might do a Q&A at the end of this. So, guys, yeah, we've got an incredible skincare product, all over body rejuvenation in the Renew 28. I know we can't make any claims, but as the guys know, I like to make one that prior to using the Renew 28 nearly 4 years ago, I used to be quite ugly. So you saw the photos. There's a living proof. There's the evidence. There is some there's some other cool products too. The company did bring out a cleanser to prepare the skin for the molecules when they're applied. So I do that religiously twice a day, putting on the Renew 28. There is a serum for fine lines. So basically you've got the ASEA, the Renew 28's got twice of the concentration of molecules, and the serum's got twice the concentration of the Renew 28. And there's also moisturizer.
Dan, let me mention one thing. I didn't mention the serum. And I had something on my arm here that's like this patch of something, and I really don't, there's 4 different possibilities of what it was, but I didn't want to use steroids and drugs on it. And it was so bad that it was actually like a kind of a bump underneath of it, and it started on this side too. And this was not doing it for me. And you know, I used the serum on my face, but I wasn't thinking about it. So 3 days ago, I started using the serum, and it had been there for 2 weeks, and it's just about gone. So the serum is quite amazing. And I know you're probably going to mention that in Australia, you guys are going to get some of the nutrition starting after the convention as well. So that I took the little bit of time that I had to try to focus on these 2 things, but yes, there's much more.
Yeah, no, good. We normally forget the nutritional product here because we haven't got approval for this here in Australia yet. It's an NFR product, but this will be released in every country by the end of the year. Incredible micronutrient, whole food, phytonutrient, super food, multivitamin and mineral. And when I started on this multivitamin, it took my detox, really everything to the next level. I started getting all spots on my face and everything again. Let's move now to Malcolm Swart from Brisbane in Queensland, another ambassador in ASEA, and he's going to talk about the opportunity. Anybody that's on this call that only wanted to know about the products, more than welcome to jump off now if you wish and go back to the person who invited you on this call. If you want to stay on and hear how we can share this with people, how we can share it with people in a lot of markets around the world, you're going to hear about that now and the opportunity. I know there's people on this call from Holland, would you believe, and the Philippines, and a lot of you guys from Singapore. This is an incredible opportunity. I was in traditional business for 20 years, built 20 traditional businesses over 20 years. When I lost my health, I lost everything. 3.5 years ago, I almost went to the Salvation Army for food stamps. Things were very, very tough. We got through that because we started sharing this with people and receiving thank you checks. So I'm going to hand over to Mal Swart now to have a little bit of a chat about the opportunity and how we can share this with people.
And they're pretty good thank you checks, Doyle.
Struggling to survive on them. It's pretty tough.
So let me just cover off for a number of you that will be on this call that are looking to deliver this technology, this amazing technology to market. One of the things that I can share with you is that I and maybe if you're in your 20s, you may see something like this again in your lifetime, but I will never see anything like this again in my lifetime, to have the opportunity of being able to deliver something as unique as this technology to market. And, you know, we were talking before, somebody, David or Doyle, you were talking before about a super juice, and I don't doubt there are many, many very good super juices, but in a commercial sense, there's 148 of them that are being delivered to market by network marketing companies. So it's an incredibly competitive space. And one of the things that separates this technology, Redox, is that we don't have any competition, and we won't have any competitor in this space for the next 20 years. And if you look back on all of the network marketing companies in history, every single one that's ever been created, it has been created and they have delivered products to market that have already been in existence, every single one of them. So the product or the technology or the antioxidant or the juice or the vitamin, all the way down to soap powders or whatever you can think of, already had a pre-existing market. This is the first time ever that a disruptive technology, a transformational technology, has been delivered to market by direct sales. And so it's kind of landed in our lap, really, to have this opportunity and the privilege, really, to be able to take this to market. And there are a number of reasons why I think this is probably, in my opinion, the most compelling business opportunity that I'm going to see again in my life. And I think when you build a business like this, yes, you need to have absolute faith in the product, absolute faith in the technology. And of course, for me, Doyle, watching your story, having known you prior to the time that you and I went to Salt Lake City in October 2014, and then to that day when I caught up with you again 12 months later to see the change in you. And of all the evidence that I've seen from the many, many people now that I have in the organization that have had unbelievable results from this technology. So you want to have a very strong belief in that technology, but you also want to have a very strong belief in who owns the company, because it is dependent on the quality of the delivery of a company or taking products to market like this is really heavily dependent on the owners of the company. And for those of you that have not met the owner, Vertus Norton, he would be one of the most compelling, significant human beings I've ever met in my entire life. And if you watch a great video, it's called The Genesis of ASEA, you will get an insight into the man, and you'll get an insight into the character of the man who had the opportunity of being able to sell this technology for a lot of money. I can't say what it was. I've been told different figures. The smallest to the greatest was very, very significant. And yet he chose not to, because he knew that if he had done that this would either have been shelved for a long period of time or might have been so expensive that the average person would never have been able to get their hands on it. And so Vertus Norton, his background was the strategic vice president of Kraft Foods, an $80 billion company. And so to have somebody like that at the helm who runs this company and takes this, helps us to drive this to market, is also very, very significant and very compelling for all of us that are building this business. Excuse me. This company is debt-free. It was debt-free after 9 months. So we have no burden with the company being in debt. We have no problems with looking at the company and watching a company that might be mismanaged in any way, shape or form. We have a company that was debt-free after 9 months. The company last year turned over almost 100 million. And the forecast is that this will be a $1 billion company within the next 3 to 5 years. And a lot of that volume is going to come out of Asia. And the launch into Asia, which is very recent, in fact, of the 5 countries that we are currently registered in or open in Asia, 3 of them I think are fully launched now, and 2 are still in pre-launch. Thailand and the Philippines, I think, are waiting to go into full launch. So for all of you listening, this is a market that we are sitting on in our neck of the woods in Australia. Almost half of the world's population sitting on our doorstep. And so for all of you listening to this in Singapore or whichever other country you might be listening to in that region, the opportunity for business, for us to do business is unbelievable. Again, we have no competitor in the space. The patents roll forward 20 years. So we don't have anybody that will compete with this technology for at least the next 20 years. So if you list all those things together, all the features and all the reasons why this is such a significant opportunity, but it still takes work. It still takes effort to build it. And there are many different ways of building it. There are many different ways of being able to put this business together. The way that I look at building a business like this is, if you had a traditional business, if we were delivering this to market in any form of traditional method, most of us, if we had this company on our own, we would be looking at finding our board of directors. And our board of directors in this case are our leaders. And so what we are on the search for is finding key people who will help us to drive this technology to market. And generally these people are of a mindset, not always, but often are of a mindset of being self-employed. They're often entrepreneurial by nature. They will understand the opportunity and the window of opportunity we have here very quickly. They will see the potential of this up into Asia. They'll generally be very well connected. They'll generally have a very strong work ethic, and they will see the potential to be able to create and develop a legacy income as we drive this and deliver this technology to market. So you're looking for people that have that vision. You're looking for visionary people. You're looking for the entrepreneurs, the people that have got good work ethic. It will sometimes happen that you'll also get people like you, Doyle, who will come to this. And because when you and I went back in October 2014, neither of us was really there for any commercial reasons. We were there for health reasons. You for your particular situation, and I was there because I had a skin challenge that I'd had for at that stage about 40 years. And having been told by all the doctors that I'd ever seen that I was never going to get rid of, and this offered some hope. So we were there for health reasons. It was subsequent to that, after what happened with you and to see what happened with your recovery, and also from many others, that then often people will get turned on to the business opportunity. I don't doubt, David, that's probably how you came onto the opportunity as well, once you had witnessed what that happened. But you don't need today to witness and wait for that. Often people will say, well, I'll wait until I see I get that major breakthrough. But there are enough breakthroughs. There's enough evidence for us or anybody to go to and find people that have had amazing breakthroughs with this technology, that we don't need to wait 3 months or 6 months to have the breakthrough before we start delivering this technology to market. So I think from my point of view, if I was sharing this with some of you on the call, it's to really realize that this is a very unique opportunity. And I don't think most of us probably on this call will never see anything like this again. This is a first, to world first, to be able to deliver this technology to market, and to see what it does for humanity, and the lives that we can empower. One of the comments you make, I think it's you, David, makes a comment that, oftentimes health problems are caused by money problems. I think they're inexorably linked somehow. And for me, Doyle, as you know, 2.5 years ago, when I began my journey with ASEA, I wasn't in a very good place financially. Very much like you, I was incredibly highly motivated. I like what Zig Ziglar says. Zig Ziglar says, I've had money and I haven't had money. Let me tell you, it's better to have money. And I absolutely agree. It's better to have it. And then there's those people that say money's not important. And Zig Ziglar would say about that, people that say money's not important would lie about other things. And I kind of agree with that too. So look, we have an unbelievable opportunity. I don't know if many of us really fully understand just how big this opportunity is in terms of the potential as we deliver this, not just into Asia, but the rest of the world. We're in 32 countries. I think in the 32 or the 33 countries, only 1% of the world, of the countries that we're in, even know about this technology. If you walk down the main street of any major city in the country, whether it's New York, whether it's London, whether it's Pitt Street in Sydney or Queen Street in Brisbane, and you asked 100 people, have you ever heard of redox signaling molecules? You'll probably find that 99% of them have never even heard of it. And these are markets that we're already represented in. So it's still very early days, notwithstanding the countries we're not in, but even the countries we are in. I just want to address, if I may, the situation in Singapore and just to encourage people in Singapore that this is still very early days. We're still very much at the very beginning. And so all of you that are involved in the business in Singapore right now, you have the most unbelievable opportunity. I know there's been a glitch, but we've dealt with this and we'll deal with these glitches before. But have a look at the future, have a look at where we're going, and have a look at the potential of where this business and this company will be in the next 2 or 3 years. A good analogy of that is that as you're driving your car down the freeway, you can either see the beautiful mountains in the distance, or you can kind of watch the fly specks on the windscreen. It really depends on what you're looking at. And if you keep your eyes focused on the vision and the magnitude of the potential that we have with this, it is truly outstanding. And, we'll be up there. I'm back up there with Julie in a couple of weeks' time. So we're very much looking forward to connecting with everybody again I think we're up there on the 20th and 21st of August. So as far as I'm concerned, it's full steam ahead. Nothing's changing. Nothing's changed. We just have to change tack a little bit. That's fine. That's the nature of commerce. That's how we do business. But we still have the most unbelievable opportunity, all of us, as we move this technology into the world, and especially for the Singaporeans, because that's one of the reasons we put this call on. So we're in a very good place. We're incredibly excited to be in business with you, and collectively we're all very excited about where this is going in the next 5 or 10 years. So I hope that's helped you. If you're looking at this as a commercial opportunity, I don't think you'll find anything better than this. And with the people we're in business with, it's just phenomenal. And let me put a plug in for Dallas. If you are thinking of building this big time, come to Dallas in a few weeks' time. We have the annual ASEA convention in Dallas in a few weeks, and if you are interested in developing a significant residual income with this company, then come with us to Dallas in a few weeks' time. It'll be fantastic. So I hope that helps. Thank you.
Thanks, Mel. I'll come back to you in a second for a closing statement. Just on that little glitch in Singapore, I did come back from a Global Advisory Council meeting yesterday from Salt Lake City and right back in Sydney. The company is working, corporate is working very, very hard on the problem, and they think they'll have a resolution in the very, very near future. They're very, very confident. I'm going to hand back to Dr. David Silverman for any last remarks, and thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely. And Mal, that was great. Thank you so much. And what you were saying about these markets, I mean, people always ask about saturation. And sitting in the United States, the company's now almost 9 years old. So, I mean, they're going to have their first $100 million year this year. It's grown every year. And you think, oh, they've been there for 9 years. Everybody in the U.S. knows about this. You said it's 99%. It is 1 out of 1,000, 1 out of 10,000 people. I was just in New York. I did a meeting in New York, the very first meeting ever in Manhattan. I mean, there are millions of people in Manhattan, and nobody knows about it. Nobody knows. They never heard of redox signaling. They never heard of ASEA. They never heard of Renew 28. And I got off the train and I'm looking around thinking, nobody here knows about it. It's the same in Asia. This is not a juice. This is not something that it's a blip. Oh, it's exciting now, and then someone else is going to have it, and then the opportunity goes away. I am just as excited about this opportunity as I am about the product. The product is a breakthrough for humanity. It is more important than the opportunity. This is something every human being needs, deserves to know about. But I'll tell you, for people who are motivated, people who want a better life, people who want to make a difference, this opportunity is once in a lifetime. It really, like you said, the closing comment I would say is this: regardless of what you're interested in here, I just wrote this down. I don't know if you can read it. We need your help. We need your help. We need your help to get the word out. And how can you help? Well, you can join our team. You can get in the game. You can have fun with us. You can create this passive income. You tell people about this. They tell people about this. They tell people. The company pays you for all of that. All you're doing is educating people about something they're going to find out about anyway. Join our team. That's one way. Okay. Have fun with this. It's a family. It's exciting to be involved with something before everybody else knows about it, knowing that they're all going to know about it, right? And to be able to help people, to sit down with 10 people that are hurting and see 9 of them say, wow, thank you. Look what you did for me. Look what you did, right? So that's one way you can help. The other way is be an advocate for us. If you're not interested in the income side of this, it's fine. Not everybody wants to make money. Not everybody wants to help other people, and it's fine. But once you know what this does, refer people to the person who introduced the people you know to the person who introduced this gift to you. Be an advocate for us, and you can indirectly help a lot of people. So that's all I wanted to say, Dan and Mal, and I really appreciate being invited on to do this, and I'm really excited about Asia. I see there are a lot of people on here from Asia. It is spreading so quickly. There are diamonds popping up in Asia in a matter of months, not a matter of years. I mean, look, we're all ambassador diamonds. You guys did it much faster than I did it, but it's not a race. They always say, you know what? Comparison, if you're doing this as a business, remember this. Comparison is the thief of all joy. You know, if you compare yourself to where you are compared to other people, You may feel bad. Don't. You guys did it faster than me. You're not on my team even, but it's not a race. It's a matter of just sharing it with people and allowing us to help you. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. David Silverman. Malsaw's just dropped off. We'll see if we can get him back. You mentioned the word gift. From my opinion, I would say this would be the biggest gift that you could actually give to anybody, the biggest gift that anybody could ever receive. We have got a vehicle called ASEA that can take you to anywhere you want to go in life, back to your health, to financial freedom. I've never seen an opportunity like it. I've never seen a breakthrough like it, a product, a technology that can do what this does. Just to reiterate that this is the single greatest health science, anti-aging and sports performance breakthrough of our lifetime. There's no product on the planet that can come close to what this can do for the human body. There's no skincare range that can do what our skincare range can do, because nothing else on the planet has these molecules in their products. We are the only company with redox signaling technology, and these molecules are the body's weapon of choice, which makes ASEA the most compelling business opportunity in the world right now. I'm going to leave my legacy to the world. David, I know you're leaving your legacy to the world. Everybody on this call, we hope we can help you leave your legacy to the world. I don't think Mal's coming on board, so I just want to thank you personally, David, for coming on. We have a fantastic time. We're good friends. Love working with you. And I can't imagine where this is going to go and the traveling we're going to do and the fun we're going to have. So I really appreciate you being on. I just want to thank everybody for joining the call tonight.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Have a good afternoon. Have a good morning. Good night.
Hope to see you in Dallas.
See you soon.